going into this weekend's games, we have the big one, the Giants, the Brands, the big boys, the Blue Buds. Number 20, Michigan heads down to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Oklahoma Sooners in the Palace on the Prairie. It's a 5-point difference in favor at the moment for Oklahoma, who haven't played the Wolverines since 1976. That's when this picture was taken. This was for a national championship where Oklahoma won 14-6 in the Orange Bowl. All those years ago, we had Switzer versus Bo Schembechler in that classic. This is the next time they will be taking on each other this upcoming weekend. At the moment, it's predicted to be a 45.5 point score total, which I think is very fitting. It's really going to depend if Oklahoma can just be lethal, which we're going to be talking about here in a few moments. Sherrod Moore opened up his season 34-17 over New Mexico. Brett Venables opened up the season against Illinois State and won only 35-3. A little surprising with that score line. Was expecting a hell of a lot more with this very hyped up offense with John Mateer running the ship there. But the big question is, who's going to win in the trenches? That is going to be the determiner here again in Norman. Oklahoma's defense gave up 117 yards on the ground against that FCS Illinois State. That is a little bit of an eyebrow raiser. Wouldn't expect Oklahoma giving up 117 to an FCS opponent who actually threw the ball, I think, even a decent amount there too. So the defense, maybe they overlooked their opponents and were maybe looking ahead of this Michigan week. But Michigan, they give up 50 yards on the ground. The previous week, we're kind of talking about the defensive fronts and what they gave up the week before. Again, the Wolverines 50 yards on the ground to the Lobos of New Mexico. In that win, the Wolverines picked up 9 tackles for loss, with 3 sacks being in that 9 tackles. And they had 26 different players record a tackle. That is absolutely insane. Looks like Michigan is going to be more than ready. And then on top of that, they're going to have depth to make some big plays because some of those tackles for loss come from a lot of unknown players nationally that I would say people would know Michigan's defense for. Their big linebacker, unfortunately, Jayshon Barham, won't be playing, it looks like, for the first half. He picked up a targeting penalty that took him out of the New Mexico game, which is also impressive. He didn't record a tackle because that happened, I think, early on. And still, you had 26 other players on top of that record a tackle. That's just some impressive defense. Even though it wasn't that impressive of a game against New Mexico. Oklahoma definitely needs to protect the ball. They had a fumble and an interception in the first half against that FCS opponent, and maybe that's why it was only 35-3. Got to be clean in the just protecting the ball. I think it was a pass that ended up being a fumble, and then the other one is obviously an interception. John Mateer just needs to be a little bit better, especially going up with this Michigan secondary that's gonna maybe pick him off once or twice, maybe a little bit more. Just can't overlook that secondary for sure. John Mateer, I mean, I don't think he's going to get over 400 yards against Michigan. I don't think there's any ways, anyhow. He had just over 400 against Illinois State. He should have probably had maybe 5, just under 600 yards against that FCS opponent again. That was just, again, a little bit surprising to see Oklahoma not I don't want to say pad the stats, but look like anything special. That's kind of what I kind of got out of this past weekend. But maybe they're holding things back too for their playbook. And we're going to see it maybe this upcoming weekend because it needs to be somewhat of a must-win for the Sooners and trying to get this season off to a good start. As I hear at your Sports Outpost, we don't respect them yet. We don't have them ranked. I know nationally they are, and in the AP, we just don't believe it yet. They got to approve us this upcoming weekend. Michigan's O-line is number 14th here at your Sports Outpost. Very, very good offensive line there. They should be opening up some holes for Justice Haynes, who last year with Alabama had 3 carries for only 18 yards against Oklahoma, and that embarrassing loss when he was a Crimson Tide player. Last week he got 159 yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. I think he's going to be a big factor here. On top of that, you also have Bryce Underwood, who also really needs to protect the ball. Even though I don't think he, off the top of my head, I don't have it in my notes that I'm pretty sure he didn't throw an interception last week. The big thing for him is avoiding 3rd and long scenarios. So obviously moving the ball on the ground in those early downs, and then kind of setting him up for success for a shorter attempt through the air. But he probably should be taking some risk, as he did that last week. He went 21 for 31 for 251 yards, was sacked twice. Oklahoma is probably going to bring the pressure, but we should also expect this really good Michigan offensive line to protect their young and true freshman quarterback at Underwood. But yeah, I'm a little worried if he can't handle the pressure going down to the Palace on the Prairie. The Oklahoma faithful is going to be super loud. It's going to be booming. And if the pressure gets to him, that's where maybe we see Michigan slip in this game here on the road. Also, another thing to mention, in the offseason, one thing I was really worried about is that Michigan and their wide receiver core, no one last year recorded 150 yards. That is insane. They're already going to have a guy, I think it's Klein, who has he got 79 yards against New Mexico last week. So yeah, it looks like they're going to be a hell of a lot better at passing, but I think in this game, they're just going to be better at passing in key moments. Kind of what J.J. McCarthy did in that national championship run, kind of passing it when they needed to, and kind of just, again, lean into that run. They have Justice Haynes, who's an excellent running back. Alabama just is really missing out on a guy like him in the backfield. And, well, the Wolverines get the benefit from it. And we think Michigan's going to win this one, even though Oklahoma is favored. Again, this is one of the few this week that we're going against the grain and go with the Wolverines on the road. We think it's going to be an 8-point win difference. And the reason why is the Michigan offensive line opening up holes for Haynes and protecting Underwood enough to get a big road win for the Michigan Wolverines and a big road win for the Big Ten. And yeah, I just really think John Mateer might be a little bit of a letdown. I know the bald man in the white shirt over at Pate State is very high on the young man, as I think he's his Heisman favorite. I think in this game we're going to show, or at least he's going to show us why he's not. I've already seen him play. Wasn't impressed with him when he went up against Boise State. He could not handle any kind of pressure that the Broncos gave him. And if Michigan can do anything like that, and they should be able to, I mean, you got Derek Moore there at defensive end, very scary guy. And then again, 26 different players recording tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. If they can get something like that this upcoming weekend, it's just going to be a very bad time for Sooner fans when Michigan comes into town. And then on top of that, Sharon Moore, this is his former program that he played at. So getting a big win over, again, a team where maybe he would have dreamed of coaching for. Obviously, I think the Michigan job is more than a dream enough to be a coach for. Regardless, that's also another factor here. As last year, technically, there was another former Oklahoma head coach player that got a win when he came into Norman. That was Josh Heupel with Tennessee. But we'll see. As